How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time out with very short notice for giving this interview, and it means a lot for me, and I hope it means a lot to all the listeners as well, because we'll be getting some very valuable gold nuggets from you today regarding Prabhupada messages on women. And then the main reason for us to do the interview today is to discuss some of the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, teachings of Krishna, and how these teachings can empower women, the Vaishnavis who are practicing Krishna consciousness or were thinking to come into Bhakti and practice the Krishna consciousness. So thank you very much for taking this time out. As I've heard about you, known about you from Sri Prabhu, you have been in this devotional service for many, many years, more than 30 years, I guess. So I think it would be very valuable for us to know about your journey a little bit, how you started and how is it going right now.
Sure, yeah. I was born in Melbourne, and my parents came from communist China in the late 50s, just before China became communist, and they settled in Australia. And as I was growing up in my neighbourhood, I was quite close to the temple in Melbourne. So I saw the devotees passing by during the daytime as I was going to school or coming back from school. And I always wondered, who are they? They were dressed in sari and dhoti, and their robes were flowing, and they looked so mystical. So that was when my interest, my inquisitiveness brought me to the temple, and I met the devotees. And so I joined when I was, I just turned 18, so it was in 1982. So I've been practicing Krishna consciousness for a bit over 40 years now.
Yeah. So 30 years was a bit less that I quoted. It's about 40 years. So that's very interesting. So coming from a communist country like China and then being able to practice Bhakti at the age of 18, I'm pretty sure you must have faced a lot of hurdles and struggles as well on your own.
Well, my parents didn't belong to any religious faith, because in communist China there is no religion there, practice of religion. So it was very open for me to sort of search for a faith that I would like to follow. And as a teenager, I always had many questions about life and, for example, why is someone born starving in the middle of a desert in Africa, and someone else is born in a wealthy family eating from a golden spoon from birth? You know, what determines one's situation in their life in this world? And many questions like, is there life on other planets? What happens after we die? And who are we really? And my brothers and I would ask these questions and discuss for hours and hours, and we never get any answers because we didn't have the answers. We couldn't figure out the answers. And it was when I came to the temple and I came to read Prabhupada's books, and all the answers are there, very logical, very scientific. So I joined the temple, I was very young, and for my parents and my family it was quite a shock, especially coming from a Chinese family to join an Indian religion. And then I started wearing sari and tilak and chanting on the beads, and I said I want to be vegetarian.
Yes.
They were totally shocked. But I was very confident. I felt like I found knowledge that I want to learn more about, and a lifestyle that I want to take up and follow with the goal at the end is to go back to God, to be connected to God and return to Him, back to the spiritual world.
That's such a nice story. And I think everyone, when they're coming to the journey of Bhakti, everyone has their own way of picking up bhakti. Either someone picks up by seeing a devotee, and then getting a sense that, oh, I belong there, and start follow them. Or I've also seen people come into bhakti just by coming in touch with Srila Prabhupada's books. That's how I came in. But I think so everyone has a different journey. It's so interesting to hear everyone's journey, because that's so unique. So when you said that you read Srila Prabhupada's book, and then that gave you the answers that you were looking for, that brings me to the next verse as well, because we'll also be going through one of the verses of Srila Prabhupada, which is from 10.34. So I'll quickly read the translation of it, and then we can talk about that. So we'll read from 10.34, where Krishna says, I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So this is from the verse 10.34 of Bhagavad Gita. So what we're talking about before, the questions you had, that why do we come into this world and why do we die? So Krishna says that I am the all-devouring death. So how would you take this particular thing when Krishna says, because we see death as a scary or fearful thing, it's a death personified. But Krishna says, I'm that all-devouring death, but Krishna is all attractive. How can then death be fearful?
Well, that's very interesting that that's there in the verse, because I've just recently lost my husband to cancer, just about a year and a month ago.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.